Hi guys. Today I just wanted to share an idea of a link between perhaps chakras in India and the halo in Christianity. And I came across this image on the Joe Rogan show one time where he showed this image of someone meditating with the solar plexus enlightened and the halo also enlightened around the head. And what I found interesting was this idea that the halo within Christian artwork is a yellow color. It's actually the same color as the solar plexus in Hindu spiritual philosophy. So I started thinking to myself, what if the halo in Christian artwork actually corresponds to our whole eye, what ancient cultures call the whole eye or the third eye? And this is the reason that it's associated with the solar plexus, why it's the same color, because the third eye is associated with the third chakra. The solar plexus is actually the third chakra, and it's actually associated with the third eye or whole eye or halo. And this is the reason that in many Christian artwork, the halo, which is a yellow color, is actually the same color as the third chakra or the solar plexus. So this is actually interesting because if you notice then where the hands and legs come into the body, the legs come in just above the sacral into the solar plexus, and the arms come into the heart. So imagine the solar plexus and the heart are of the same energy. They're of an energy of light, whereas the lower two chakras are actually of an energy of the earth. So the hands and feet actually act as antennae for the solar plexus and the heart. Once you give up what's below the solar plexus, giving up root possessions, your material wants in the root chakra, giving up your desires, your sexual desires, your creative desires in the sacral, the solar plexus and the heart begins to awaken. And the legs or the hands and feet actually begin to act as antennae for the solar plexus and the heart. And this is the importance, why it's so important to analyze where your hands are throughout the day, and why spiritual groups actually put them together in a prayerful motion when praying, and why yogis and gurus actually put their feet together when meditating and their hands together. That your hands and your feet are actually communicating with the world around you. If your hands are always facing downwards, you're engaged in the physical world. Perhaps you're doing this throughout the day while you're walking, but your thoughts are actually governed then by the physical world, by Satan, by those around you who are driven by greed, driven by material possession and material wants and desires. And this is not necessarily the best way to live our lives. So this is what certain gurus, monks, yogis across the world have actually realized, that if you put your hands together while the solar plexus and the heart is open, you actually begin to communicate with your heart. You're circulating the thoughts within yourself, the feelings, the emotions within yourself, and the life within yourself, and you begin to communicate with your heart, that source, that connectedness with you. For we are mirror images of this life that is around us. So if we're connected to our heart, this means we're connected to the heart of the universe, which is God. So when we pray with our hands together, we're actually communicating with the divine, with God. And then if you bring your hands up, facing palms up, you actually give everything up. You're giving everything up to heaven, and you're communicating then with Christ. So I just thought it was very interesting that this actually explains the importance of hands and the position, and why we need to be very careful as to where we put our hands, and why there is such a need for prayer. So I've gathered some images. These are images here from different spiritual traditions that I've come across over the last few years. And it's interesting to observe that In these images, you notice where the ball of energy, particularly this one here on the right hand side, this ball of energy is actually in the region of the solar plexus. And you see that it's also connected to the third eye. So the third chakra is associated with the third eye or the halo, and it's also a yellow color. But notice in this image as well, there seems to be this kind of image of almost planets rotating as if this yellow ball is the sun. And like I said, we are mirror images of the life around us, the universe around us. So the solar plexus actually represents our sun and our solar system. This is why it's called the solar plexus, because the solar plexus is associated with light, is associated with the solar system. So there are many images, even this one here, of course, on the left-hand side here, where the hands are in the solar plexus region, but it's almost like the universe or the solar system is rotating around this solar plexus, as if the solar system has some sort of link with the solar plexus. So when the solar plexus begins to open up, it's very important to be in tune with the solar system.